All right. Shalom, shalom to the brethren. What up to everybody else? This is your Brandon Lewis, and this is What It Do with B. Lou. This is one. This is one that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. Everybody's seen the movie. Well, a lot of people have seen and are talking about all over social media. A movie called "They Cloned Tyrone." As always, in true fashion, your brother would like to cause you to consider. And what you should consider today is, have they cloned you? All right. For the context of this, you need to have at least seen the video or a trailer or something, right? But by and large, most people are talking about Jamie Foxx, right? Jamie Foxx is the guy on the end in the purple. He plays a pimp in the movie. Not a very successful pimp, at least at the moment. In times past, maybe he was, you know. But he is he is played by Jamie Foxx, right? This pimp. Jamie um ended up sick, and he ended up coming out of the hospital looking strangely different than how he did when he went in. So everybody's saying that he was cloned and he's not the same guy, and that's kind of the gist of what a lot of people are talking about. But if you watch the movie by and large is about, there is a ghetto, an impoverished community of quote unquote African Americans that live in a city, and they stumble across a underground laboratory that is poisoning the community. They come to find out that the community is being poisoned by their food, by their churches, by their hair salons, and many other forms, right? And that message seems to get touched on somewhat, right? Another key part of the movie, this is a spoiler alert if you have not seen the movie, and you plan to, you might want to tune out right now. But a key part of the movie is that they find out that Tyrone was indeed a clone, and the reason they cloned him was that they wanted to keep him in play as a tool to poison the community. At one point, when they tell him that he's a tool, he feels bad about it and he wants to give up and quit. And they inform him that he is a patriot. The ones that played a role in him being who he is said he is a patriot and that he helps and aids them to be who and what they are. And this is my point, is that like Tyrone is a controlled opposition placed in the community to to be a hindrance to his community. We have been used by popular culture, by media, and by others in our community who have been poisoned or in some ways controlled, like Tyrone. We have been influenced by these people to be clones of them, right? And be a hindrance. This is where we find ourselves at. And this is what this video is about. I want to address the fact that we're looking at this movie and we're hearing about Jamie Foxx coming out of the hospital, and, you know, a lot of us know about you know about the drug trade and the CIA and all these things, COINTELPRO, right? We know about all these things, but what we don't consider is what role, first of all, what damage have they done, right? And what damage have they done to us, and what role have we played? Many of us who have changed our lives or whatever have understood that we have been in transgression against the scriptures. We have not lived as the scriptures say we are to live, but I mean, who does, right? Many of us are striving to get in good standing in that regard. But the issue we aren't seeing is, are we Tyrone? Are we the pimp? Are we the prostitute in our actions, in our lives, right? Or how much have these kinds of characters on our TV screens, on our cell phones, or even in our own families and communities, how much have these people influenced us to the point that we take on some of their characteristics, to the point that we become hindrances by having their characteristics in us and showing them to others and portraying them to others. And that's what I feel is the deeper meaning of the book. Now, I want to go into and show some things here. I want to show some pictures here and speak about these pictures. Look at this. Look at these two women here. This is a rap group. Well, I don't know if it would be called a rap group, but these are some rappers called City Girls, right? And look at them. They are, by and large, what most young females share the characteristics of. Look at the hair. Look at the highlighted hair, the colored hair. Look at the jewelry. Look at the makeup. Look at the eyelashes, right? Look at the style of dress, right? Same women here in another portrait. What do we see? We see colorful hair. We see makeup. We see scantily clad bodies, right? And this is the majority of what they desire to see from our women, right? These women, this is a regular girl. This woman here is not a rapper, right? She's not any kind of a celebrity. But these women are celebrities. These women are the kind of women that this woman sees. And you see how they have the fake eyelashes? She has the fake eyelashes, right? Likewise with our men. This guy here, scantily clad as well, if you will. You see his pants, you see how low his pants are, you see how his underwear are outside of his pants, see how he has a weapon, right? I think this is a picture of Chief Keef, right? You see this right here. This is another guy, little baby, you know, holding a brick of money, wearing uh wearing uh tight pants, just like this guy. Well, his pants aren't tight. They may as well be. But his underwear is hanging out of his pants. Just like this guy here. His underwear as well is hanging outside of his pants. His buttocks is well outside of his pants. Right? There's a real feminine culture they're placing upon our men. Right? And this is what we see here. This is late 90s era rap at the top, and this is 2020 rappers on the bottom. You see this? Although although you see this up top, they had their issues. They all rapped about selling drugs. They all rapped about sleeping with women. They all rapped about a lot of things that was very irresponsible, right? So now we see these men cloned other men to believe that selling drugs was the way, to believe that killing men was the way, to believe that overall doing dirt and living a dishonest life was the way, right? And they cloned these men up top, cloned these regular men, these children that grew into adults to live their lives. And that in effect left the women that they used and abused and slept with to be without coverings, to be without husbands, either due to them dying, due to them being incarcerated, or just by and large them not being present, because those men's or those clones dealings with them was not meant to be a long-term relationship. It was not meant to bring up children. It was not meant to be anything righteous or anything wholesome, right? It was meant to be trashy. It was meant to be in and out. So when those men left those women uncovered and those children unfathered, those unfathered children turned into the pictures you see on the bottom, right? Very, very questionable attire. Very, very questionable attire. Very questionable style of dress is what we have here. And also, I would like to share a video I found. So I wanted to show some video about this kind of stuff here. Here we're gonna go into this guy doing a video about about New Orleans, the streets of New Orleans. And he's gonna talk with young men about what goes on in the streets of New Orleans, right? Mind you, the guys on top made clones that lived contrary lives, that caused them to leave their women uncovered, to leave children unfathered, that made way for the men on the bottom, right? And also made way for a group of violent, mindless, cultureless, moralless generation of men and young boys. And this is what we're going to see here in this video. Matter of fact, let me reshare this video so I can make sure I got sound on it. Definitely need sound so you can hear what's going on. This is the clones that they made. Everybody want to talk about Tyrone. But what about your son, Tyrone? What about your nephew, Tyrone? What about your boyfriend, Tyrone? Is he a clone as well? I dare say he truly, truly is. So let's get right on into it. Check this out. Mind you, this is very, very, very strong language. This is going to be used in this video, but just beware.
Crazy. Hey, what's
Mind
going on,
you,
guys? It's a
I do
beautiful
not
day out here in
own
New
this
Orleans. And it's my
video.
good
All
people. I hope you guys gonna
copyrights
enjoy this video.
reserved. This is
Hollywood,
used under
East
the Fair
Side,
Use
you
Act,
dig? We're in the middle of the motherfucking track
and
right now. My bad. Look, hold on.
so on and so forth.
Looks like a 9mm.
The way my city work, like, see, it's not like all that gang shit, all that. Like, they got Bloods and Crips and all that pussy that shit, but it ain't really that. It's wars. 17 is third wall, 13 fucking full wall, all that shit. Like
3 to the
you hear me?
17. Man.
Yeah, basically that was
3 to
it.
17.
17.
It's
You
balls.
say?
Ain't none of that gang shit. It's like every man for himself out, some shit.
Basically.
You know what I'm saying? But fuck.
Niggas is renegades, but niggas be more like family. And
Yeah, nigga really be like
that.
family out here. It don't really be no gangs. Everybody really like family and shit. But this bitch wicked, dude.
Yeah,
This bitch wicked.
Yeah, wicked ain't the fucking word, niggas. Fuck. You see what it look like around this bitch, and they got the little man right there. Niggas just came through this bitch and swung.
They got uptown, downtown, the east, across the river.
It really
That's the
across
West
the river
Bank.
kind of. Yeah, that bitch kind of wicked too. That
So
bitch.
it be broken into wards out here too. I know a lot of the New York stuff, the LA stuff is like neighborhoods, boroughs, and down here is wards. You got the 9th ward, the 17th ward, the 3rd ward, the 6th ward. It's all wards down here. You catch yourself in the wrong ward.
And project
really
flagged down.
like see
Yeah,
the project,
yeah,
the
yeah.
project seats like niggas be like from the 3rd wall, but they not from the 3rd wall. They from the Magnolia. Like you feel me? If a nigga be from the 4th wall, like a nigga who from the Ville feel different from a nigga who just from the 4th wall. A nigga who just live on Iberville. Like niggas who project niggas really feel different about that shit. It's a whole different mix.
Ain't about that project. Iberville project. Full. Ain't none of that shit. You hear me? But we show love to the 4-2, you hear me? On the other side to that bend to the Ville, you know how it goes. You know what I'm saying?
You in the zoo right now. The 17th, that's the zoo.
You hear this?
We don't got
I can't even take too much of it. I can't even can't even take too much of it. Just the mindset, of our people claiming ghettos, claiming places, and claiming things that was meant to poison them, meant to deter them from any form of righteousness, from any form of understanding, from any form of life and life abundantly. They regard, they praise, they worship these things. And this is the cloning. This is the cloning that's taking place, right? That we aren't relevant of, aware of, right? And we need to be aware of these things. We need to be aware of the fact that there's an agenda, right? How you doing? I spoke earlier about our women and how they look like this, right? The wigs, the weaves, and the makeup, right? It's almost as if it's a costume, but a costume why? Right? Why is it a costume? Why is it a thing? Why is this a thing? Because this, brothers and sisters, looks like something else. Looks like something else they maybe don't even intend to look like. I looked up black transgender before and after pictures because I knew what it was, but I wanted you to be able to see what it is. And when you see that this and this and this looks a lot like this, then you start to see why they cloned Tyrone and Taisha. Okay? They didn't just clone Tyrone, they cloned Taisha too. Tyrone turned into Taisha, brethren. That's what we need to understand today. We need to understand today that literally Tyrone turned into Taisha. And that's what they desire for us, y'all. That's what they desired for us. Now, this right here, it's not really caked with a lot of makeup and things, right? Because he already had kind of the feminine characteristics. But that is a wig upon his head, right? Tyrone turned into Taisha. Look at this. Look at this here. Look at Tyrone. Now, I don't know if his name is Tyrone or not, but this was a boy. He's still a boy, but he looks like this now. Now, do you see this is a wig? This is probably plenty of makeup upon the face. Do you see the eyelashes? Right? Do you see how that is mixed with this? right? When you put this with this, you get this. When this boy has this for a mother, very well might turn into this, you know. And this is what's going on, man. Them Cloned Tyrone is way bigger than some comedy sci-fi movie. This is your everyday life. You understand? This is your everyday life. This is what you're faced with. This is your brothers. This is your brothers and your cousins and your daddies even. Right? You see this? See what's going on? You see what's going on here? They cloned Tyrone. They cloned Tyrone. You know? Who did they clone him with? Who did they clone him with? With celebrities. Celebrities that he saw growing up, that he came up with, that he saw like this. Maybe not these women in particular, but he saw women before them, right? He saw RuPaul. He saw, hold on, I think that is RuPaul. No, that's not RuPaul. But this particular boy probably saw RuPaul and said, I want to be that, right? Just like the street thug saw Tupac and said, I wanted to be that. He saw, whoever, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Ice-T. He saw Lil Baby, the Baby, whoever. He saw him. They saw them and said, I want to be that. This is the real, they clone Tyrone. Your wife, your girlfriends, they act like these women. You wonder why you can't talk to them. You wonder why she don't listen. You wonder why uh uh her mind is how it is. Because she's been cloned. And the best thing that could happen to any of us that's been cloned is to be like in the movie when he realized what had happened, when he realized what had been done to him, and he desired to change it. See, that's what we got to be. That's what we got to do. We got to desire. We have to desire to change it, brethren. And that's real. That's real. We got the desire to change it. We got the desire to, we have to resent it. We have to resent what's been done to us. We have to resent what they've said to us. I got a clip here I want to share. Shout out to Pastor Darby. Shout out to Pastor Darby. He brought out gems. And here's another one. 1 second. Let's get them shared up here. Let's listen to what he said.
Back and you researching what we lied about. All we're doing is going back, looking at what y'all said and what actually was. And we're finding out there's texts and files, there's lies here. And what they want you to do is shut up, preacher, like the slave preacher, and preach heaven. No, preach heaven, preach love your enemies, and preach heaven. That's what you better preach. And that's why these Sambos are preaching every Sunday. They just dancing and shouting about going to heaven. And your sons are getting their dome blasted every week and don't know why these Negroes hate each other so much that they murder one another, because we ain't talking about what was done. They put you on TV and put the camera in your face and ask you why your community's so bad, as if there's no understanding of how we got here. Man, y'all let them get away with that if y'all want to. But my sons gonna know the truth. Sons, we wasn't always thugs. Lil Wayne them didn't exist all the time. We wasn't always fathers.
We wasn't always thugs. That's what we got to understand. This wasn't always us. This wasn't always cool. It ain't cool now to many of us, you understand? This ain't what it's always been, brothers and sisters. This is the effects of the cloning, right? This is the effects of the cloning. I need to do a part 2 video of this because we need to understand that we in this quote unquote walk, right? Religious walk, Christians, Israelites, Muslims, we'll look at this and say, yeah, them the clones. Amen, brother. Bring it out. Bring it out. But I dare say, brethren, that even in the religious field, there are clones, just like in the movie. They had clones in the church. You might say, well, them rappers, I don't do the rap music. Well, they had clones in the hair salons. They had poison in your food. They had poison on your radio. They had poisons everywhere you might seek to go. There was poison. So you think you're going to come into this walk, you think you're going to come into the truth, and it ain't no poison? You think you're going to go up into the church and ain't no poison? You think you're going to go to the mosque and it ain't no poison? You think it ain't no clones? You think it ain't no clones in the truth? Shalom, Ak. Shalom, sis. You think it ain't no clones? You think it ain't no Tyrones in the walk? No Tyrones in the truth? No Tyrones at the mosque? Alhamdulillah. You think it ain't no clones? Salaikum salam. You think it ain't no clones? They say Ak too. You think it ain't no cologne? You think it ain't no clones in there, Ak? You think it ain't no clones in the pulpit? You better realize this thing is real. They didn't clone Tyrone. They cloned you. Maybe not you personally, but you as in the people. And that's what we got to understand. Shout out to Cindy Smith. If I ain't got no supporter, I got her. That's what we got to understand. The clones is everywhere. The game is rigged everywhere. Now, I got these pictures up, but, they said it's bigger than Nino Brown. It's bigger than Tyrone. It's bigger than Tyrone. What about Taisha? What about Reverend Ty? What about Imam Ty? What about Moray Ty? What about, radio personality Ty? What about Sister Ty? Oct Ty? All the ties. You think just the pimp and the prostitute is the clone. Look at your sisters in the walk. Look at your sisters in the truth. She got a dress on, she got a head wrap, and her eyes look like that. She got a head wrap on, and under her head wrap, she look like that. When she go out on the weekends with her girls and her cousins, she look like that. But when she come for Shabbat, she modest. Clone. In disguise. So that's all I want to talk about, man. I just wanted to bring something to you, man, to make you consider. You worried about Jamie Foxx. You worried about aliens and whatnot. You need to understand that this thing is way deeper than you ever could have imagined. I think it's way deeper. We got groups out here, just like Tyrone was made by the government, made for the government, put in the communities to poison. COINTELPRO, poison in the communities. They gonna have Shabbat every Saturday. They gonna tell you about the laws, statutes, and commandments, but they ain't gonna do a damn thing to make you not be a slave to them, to make you not be a slave to sin. I ain't gonna tell you nothing about it. And that's what we gotta understand. We gotta be on the lookout. We gotta have our eyes wide open instead of wide shut. We gotta be vigilant. We gotta be sober-minded, not drunk off of wine, drunk off of the herbs, or drunk off emotion. We gotta be focused and be on point and realize the powers of our enemies and realize that they are deeper and more disciplined than we could ever imagine. I just pray that I helped you in some kind of way and caused you to understand that not only have they cloned Tyrone, but they cloned you. All praises to the Most High, y'all. Thanks to His Son, Yahushua Mashiach. Peace out.